Out goes the powerhouse, and the COVID-19 man has come to deliver you from the empty land, from the ones who have been silenced to the promised land of the other bed, which is the original place for the soul of a man, where he can now get his jubilee and abide safe like he's never been, in the power of the Father, in the powerhouse, cause that's what Word Tech Trick, Double Tech, is the only bed we're connected. Word Tech Trick, Double Tech, in the powerhouse we're connected. Truth in the Torah where it is, that's right. And whether you like it or not, I just don't give a damn. Cause in this thing, the end is gonna be for sure. It's got a date before the song began to score. This ain't no lie, we about to fly. Cause in the truth, there's nothing that can be denied. Here's the COVID-19 man is hooking you up to the other bed, to the powerhouse, with your waving. The COVID-19 man is gonna hook you up. Cause that's what Word Tech Trick, Double Tech, in the other bed we're connected. Word Tech Trick, Double Tech, to no one else I'm genuflecting. Word Tech Trick, Double Tech, to the powerhouse I'm connected. And then I want to get your power back, cause you will find in there the powerhouse not scared. You won't be silenced, nobody can touch what you will find in there. Gets to cut the masking back of lies. The righteous now they cries, cause the COVID-19 man is gonna hook you up to the powerhouse. Leave the power show, ride this mule around. And welcome to HDTV 28, a dollar in Torah volts, 613. Welcome, once again, welcome. Good to have you. And hello, my fellow Bavarians. Okay, the administrators of the economy of the alphabet. That's why I call you the Bavarians, for the word the bar. So it's good to have you. See some new faces. Joseph Cat, glad you could join us, my man. Good to have you here. And I see Andrea, Andy Crispin is already here. Rosa Crispin, good to have you. Brianna, it's good to see you. All right, Bear Fruit, you made it, my man. You made it time. It's good to have you guys. It's perfect. You know, we're doing pretty good. And so tonight we're going to be looking at that famous word, you know, from Zechariah chapter 14, verse 9. And I'll be explaining, I'll be reading it to you as we go and explaining as we go, you know. But for now, let me take you. So this is we're looking at the great reset of the value system, because that's what's going on right now, you know. In the world of economics, they're trying to look at going electronic all the way so they can control everything. But at the same time, you can see that all these people, they can do all kinds of fraud electronically, as we have seen going on. But, you know, so that's what you are in the midst of, you know, the great delusion of the external value of things. And that's what I'm trying to explain here. So let me go to one of my main offices here that I like to use as a background. Let me find it here. I was like, all right, let's go over here. Okay. All right. Okay. All right, so here we are, you guys. Good to see you. It's good to have you, you know. And we're going to have a good time today looking at different things here and learning, you know. And what I've done is the stuff that the commercials that I'm sharing, you know. That's good, Joseph. But I'm glad you could show it. Good to have you, Joseph. I'm glad you make it. I know you have business to do. You're a busy man. But it's good to grace us with your presence. That's very good. Very nice of you. In any event, so the rest of you, you know, you're here. We're gonna enjoy a good time, and yeah, you can always watch this later on. That's why it's here on Facebook, and later on I upload it on YouTube, so we all can enjoy it, so we all can have access to it. And that's the whole idea, to learn the Torah as it connects to the world around you, and you can make sense of everything. All right, so here we are. Let me make sure that you're listening. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So yeah, I gotta be checking on the mic all the time because I can't trust it. Rosa Crispin, good to have you. All right. So exactly, I do simultaneous checks here and there. So we are looking today at a very important topic, the word Echad. Okay, it's made of the aleph, the head of the ox, and then it's made of the chet. The chet is for the wall or the fence. The wall or a fence, which is the function of protecting and providing safety and safeguarding something. And it's also the name for a strong city. A strong city used to be walled up all the way around so nobody could just penetrate it. So the chet represents like a strong city or a safeguarded place, like a vault, something like a Fort Knox, something that is hard to penetrate. And then Daleth. Okay, so that's Aleph, which is the head of the ox for strong or powerful, and the het, the wall or the fence, which stands for, safeguarded or well protected and secure, right? And Dalet, which means system or administration, because Dalet is for the gate and has to do with governing something. You have access to do a lot of things. So the Dalet is always for administration or the system. So that's the word, the main word that we're looking today, Echad, which actually means one. Okay, so when you think of the word one, that's what it means. Okay, so we're gonna be looking at it a little bit more closely today, and so let me see. Let me take you to some of the pictures here that I need to give me a second because I need to find this for you guys. The picture I'm gonna share today. Let me put it in here so we can get going. Let me see the photos here. Hold on a second. Almost there. Almost there. Give me a second. Okay. Get my act together here. Almost got it. Yes. All right. I think we got it here. Okay. So let me put. If I can do it here. I can do this. Good. All right. So here we are. So this is the thing with the topic for today. The COVID-19-MAN. We're looking still at the greater set of the value system, and Echad. Just basically what's going to have to happen, because that's how things going to have to be. Because it says the Bible, and that's why I was sharing today. So what I'm doing today is the things that I'm sharing in my commercials. I'm putting it all together, and that way I have a whole lesson prepared, and I want to read it to you. That's what we're going to do here right now. Okay, so Echad has to do with that. So it's a strong, for the word Echad, it's a strong, well-protected administration. Okay? And so the thing is, I was explaining, the picture that you see in the background, there in the background there, that's a picture of the patent office in Europe. It's like all glass, so it's very transparent, But that's a place in Europe where they hold all people's ideas, all people's services and products, so that people will retain their rights of exclusivity and uniqueness. Because that's what gives value when you're the parent of a company, when you're the father of this, the founder of this, when you recognize, then that what brings value to your company. So the word one makes you exclusive. It makes you unique. All of that has to do with the word one. So when it says, Shema Yisrael Adonai Elohenu Adonai Echad, it's talking about not only God being one in the sense that everything about him is exclusive. What he does, nobody else can come close to it. Okay, and we've been talking about this economy of the organic garden, the one that is not the mule. How it is that every cell, we have 37.2 trillion cells, and each cell has a 50 to 150, power plant, so it can run by itself. It has the power to duplicate and all that. So all of that is happening in the cell. Just a single cell is able to do all of that without our help and asking us for help. That alone is a garden that cannot be matched by anything that man has ever made and all the economies of the world have put together. We live creating Mickey Mouse economies, little things where we can live and be proud of the work of our hands here, but that nothing compared to a single cell in our body that knows how to move with the DNA and keeps everything about the DNA and follows all the alphabet that is found in the DNA. That's an amazing compartment, a cell. So when you recognize, the powerful way in which God made you, then you can laugh at what man thinks he has accomplished. Man has not begun to scratch the surface of God's creativity and ingenuity. The way he's the architect and engineer of my body, I marvel at it at every second. And I deputize and I weaponize every cell to talk on my behalf because every cell in my body keeps the DNA. Every cell is a keeper of the alphabet that tells the DNA how to be composed of. So every cell in my body is a keeper of the alphabet, which the Father is the Father of everything. So all of us is in us, and is the one that it has to be utilized. My body has to be utilized. My ability to think, my soul has to be utilized before anything runs in the mulectic garden. So the organic garden, the cells in us, our mind, our soul, all of that comes first. And then everything else trickles down to this world of the dust. So you gotta remember, where God put you, And so I'm getting ahead of myself, but I want to be reading these things to you, but I'm giving you an idea. So that's the whole idea. So Echad is that a strong, fortified administration, a powerful housing administration. So it's a place that protects people's ideas and ownership of exclusivity. And so all the countries bow down to the rules because you cannot be stealing somebody's intellectual property or they'll go after you with the full force of the law, because people have to be protected. So imagine those are the products in the mulectic garden. But nobody can come close to do what God does just by cloning. That's the closest they can come when they clone animals. But they just made a photocopy machine, okay? But they have to use the code. Everything that God wrote and He wrote it, they just put it in the waters and become like a 3D printer for cloning things. But cloning it, itself, it has to have the code that comes from the original. So God takes precedence of everything. His resilient garden is over all things, okay? So that's what we're looking today. So that's the economy that we were called to exist. Okay, so let me go and start reading some of the stuff that I wrote. So I want to start sharing that right now. Let me see if I can put it here, right? And I think it does. It allows me to put it here, right? Oh, perfect, it does. All right. Let me go all the way to the top of this. Okay. From the very beginning. All right. Yeah, this is stuff that I was writing today for the different commercials that I was putting. I figured what I can do is just write those things and then I put them in here and I'll read them to you. That way I have plenty to do, plenty to say, and and we all can learn while reading as well. So I wrote this in one of the things, and you probably read it. This in the book that bears my first name. Zecharias is my first name. It's like Zechariah, just ends with an S. But Zechariah in the chapter that has the numerical value of my second name, chapter 14. Zechariah chapter 14. 14 is the numerical value of David. Okay, David has the Daleth, has the Vav, and he has a Daleth again. Okay, so it's like I believe the Daleth is the 4, and the Vav is the 6. Okay, and then so that's the Daleth is the number 4, the Vav is the number 6. So you add them up, that's 10, and has another Daleth at the end, another 4. So when you add together, the numerical value of 14 of David is 14. Okay, and then also verse 9, and verse 9 is the ninth letter, of the Hebrew is the word tet, for the tab spelled with a T, but another T is the last one, tab, right? It's the number 400. But the tet is number 9, and number 9, the word tet is T-E-T, in Hebrew. So it has 2 T's because in Hebrew we don't count the vowels, just the consonants. So Tito is one of the nicknames that everybody that knows me for a long time since I was a child knows that that's the only nickname I go by outside of my real names is Tito. Now I give myself the nickname of the COVID-19-MAN now that I'm doing this thing. But that's one that I gave when I was early in life. So Tito, or Titus, Tito and Titus has 2 T's. So I find it very interesting, that this thing this verse shares a lot with who I am, because I really focus in understanding what the word Echad means, and I have for a long time, and I think I have a pretty good understanding of that, and that's what I'm conveying to you. So in the book of the that bears my first name, the book of Zechariah, in the chapter that has the numerical value of my second name, David, which is 14, and in the verse that stands for the letter Tet, which is verse 9, and Tet has two initials of the consonants that are used for my nickname Tito. The following promise is found in Zechariah 14:9. It says, "And the Lord shall be king over all the earth." Yeah, and the Lord shall be king over all the earth. In that day shall there be one Lord, and his name Echad is one, and his name, that is Echad, or one, or exclusive, or unique. Okay, so that says Deuteronomy 6:4. It says, "Shema Yisrael Adonai Elohenu Adonai Echad." Hear, O Israel, the Lord thy God, your Lord is one. The Torah was given first before the Talmud, and it says the Torah was given first before the Talmud, the Quran, and the New Testament. And all of them proudly claim that the Torah is the word of the living God. They all say that that's the word of God. So the Quran for Muslims, the New Testament, the Talmud, which is just a commentary in the whole Torah, they all say that that's it, this is it. The Torah is the first one, and it's the measure by which everything else should be measured. In other words, you got to look at everything that's come out in this world through the eyes of the Torah. The Torah is our guide. There's nothing else that needed. Like if the Torah was lacking something and the Quran needed to come along to add something more to it. And even the Talmud doesn't claim to have any credit other. The Talmud is just pointing back to all the things, and it tells stories that are applied to the wisdom that can be gotten from the verses of the scripture. But the Tanakh, it completely points back to the Torah. But the New Testament is not something that is needed. The New Testament is presented. I think of the New Testament because when I grew up in the Christian church, I learned about the term Antichrist. Okay, and Antichrist just means in the place of Christ. So something is taking the place Christ. So Antichrist doesn't mean against, but somebody takes the place of something else. So Antichrist means somebody taking the place of Christ, right? And so, but the interesting thing that I found as I read the Torah is that everything else, because the Torah is complete, to enter the mindset and to understand that to live for the Aleph Beth is the highest thing that a soul can ever achieve. It's better than resurrection, it's better than healing, it's better than everything, because you enter into the mindset of the Creator. And to be into the mindset of the Creator is to have fellowship and intimacy with your Maker. And there's nothing better than that. Because that's what our soul was made for. Was made to be a spark of life. The breath of God, the small breath of God united back with Him to that intimacy of His mindset. So you understand? So that's very clear to me now. All right? Because when you are like that, you only have the lover of words and meanings and definitions. You don't hold into anything. You have nothing in this world to grasp. But everything that you touch and you come in contact with is to make it better. Is to restore, renew, refresh. You don't have grubby hands to take anything from anybody. You're so complete in the fellowship of your Maker and in the mindset of being the Father of all things that you desire nothing else. You understand what it is? And that's what the Torah guides us to do. And that's what it's set up to do, to guide us back to that mindset, to be totally satisfied. So now that I know that, then everything that has come, every book that has come out, after the Torah to try, is nothing but the anti-Torah. Wants to take the place of the Torah, if you please. Okay? So that's what everything else becomes to me. Because they have the index, they have the thing, they have everything like a Torah does, their order of books and everything, but it's not going to add anything to bring you close to the one iota closer to the mindset of your Maker in the here and now than what the Torah does. The Torah is precisely for that reason it was made, so that we will appropriate that fellowship in the here and now with the mindset of the Ab, and that's I want to keep on reading because I'll say some more about that. So the Torah was given first before the Talmud, the Quran, and the New Testament. And all of them proudly claim that the Torah is the word of the living God. Let me get up here. Okay, all the way to the top here. Okay. Then the only logical thing for any reasoning person to do is to learn and memorize the Torah first and then judge any other writings through the lenses or the eyes of the Torah and not the other way around. Because what we end up having is that we get a lot of people go like, when I was as I enter into the knowledge of my Maker to the Pesel, the narrative of Christianity, I will look everything in the Old Testament to try to find how that match up with Jesus. You see, when the Torah is not about seeing what this matches up with the Messiah. The work of the Messiah is to bring you back to respect the Torah. Is to bring you back to establish the Torah as the king of all. As the word that is complete and wholesome. Not to say I am I'm replacing it now. You can say my name and you don't have to worry about the Torah. None of that stuff. The Moshiach of the scripture is not supposed to do that at all. He's not supposed to bring attention to himself, to make himself be venerated or worshipped. That's not the job of the Messiah. The job of the Messiah is to bring you back to the Torah, and so you will establish the Torah as the only book that is needed to bring you into the mindset and fellowship of the Ab, of the alphabet, of the alphabet, which represents the Father. And that's the number one task of the Torah, and he's able to do that. Okay? And so all of that is part of it. So let me see here what we're looking at. Okay. So now let me see. The Torah itself, let me take it all the way to the top here. The Torah itself claims to be complete and self-sufficient to reveal to us the mindset of the Yud He Vav He, that Jehovah, for us to grow into the fullness of the character of the Aleph Beth, that is Ab or Father, in the here and now, as we connect with Him while we are executing the 613 mitzvot, connections, you please, or commandments. And if you are not Jewish, you can still connect with your Maker by thoroughly and full-heartedly following the 7 Noahide laws. God knows your heart and knows exactly why you derive satisfaction out of the religion where you claim to have had an encounter with Him. So all people say they had an encounter with God. I felt so satisfied. I felt full. They claim that they left addictions. They used to be drug addicts. They used to be prostitutes. Used to be liars, cheaters, and all of this and that. So they think that to know God is to just have a better behavior in this world, and they're satisfied with that. That's it. I mean, they had a change. They left the drugs. They're not being hookers anymore. They're not being drug addicts anymore. They're not lying. They're being honest in their business and all this stuff. They're acting like good, upstanding citizens. Okay? And that's wonderful. That's fine and dandy. Society, is able to run. The elected guardian has no problem with you because you were very obedient. That's fine and dandy. There's nothing wrong with that. But the final thing is that God wanted you to be intimate with His mindset and the attitudes and the way He loves to keep definitions and meanings, so that you establish yourself that in the heart of the Father you are completely satisfied, and there's nothing else this world can do to add to you, but you can add everything you want to it, because now you know the Father and you're completely satisfied with Him. That's the kind of fellowship that He really wants for you, your soul, to grow up the alphabet. If you're given the alphabet, that's the seed of the Father. Every alphabet is like planting the seed of the Father, and that seed has to grow into the alphabet, the Father. So the whole idea is, through the whole process of you being given the alphabet when you go to kindergarten or preschool, you're given the seed of the Father. And then you're supposed to take the alphabet and grow to the maximum potential of what the alphabet can do as the Father of all. Okay? And so when you just want to just behave well in society, do good in your job, you're not even reaching the highest potential yet. You're being stopped half the way. You have not established that connection yet. See, and only the Torah teaches you that. And He gives you a hunger for that. And He wants to establish you there. Okay? So the other religions just bring you to, you will get healings. You eventually will get resurrection. You will get a heaven. all the fringe benefits are called. Okay? But we were made for something more better than the fringe benefits. I'm gonna keep on reading, so we'll get to that. All right. So let me see. So let me let me move my mouse as I get behind here. So the Torah itself claims to be complete. You have a character of the alphabet in the here and now as we connect with Him, uh, while we are executing 613 mitzvot or connections. And this, and if you are not Jewish, I told you don't hide the house. Okay, now he goes. God knows your heart, and I explain all that, the reasons why you say you can encounter with Him. Now let me go up. Okay, all the way up here. All right. Now that I have thoroughly delved into the Torah and have discovered that is truly complete to make you be wholesome and thoroughly equipped to abide in the mindset of the Ab or the Father in the here and now, I view all the other religions, writings, all the other religious writings that have come after the Tanakh to be nothing more than the anti-Torahs or Torah wannabes, or that seek to supplant. I didn't put it all the way to the top. That seek to supplant or take the place of the Torah. God knows, and you know. This is another part here now. God knows, and you know, and I know that all things are made from words. That we all can prove. That's empirically proven. And there's a pattern, there's measurements, the blueprints, buildings can be made, cars can be manufactured. So the word, nobody can deny it, that words make and sustain things. So God knows, and you know, and I know that all things are made from words. And we also know that the only way that something made by words is going to stay new or functioning or refreshed, restored, and renewed is if we hold onto the alphabet, or the Father, and all its order all the time. So if we are holding onto the word that made something, or we know it full-heartedly, everything will stay refreshed and new. Nothing is going to die before your eyes. When you forget the word, that's when everything goes down. So we all know that. Okay? So that's something that they know denying. Now, let me go a little further here. The alphabet and words are divine. I call it divine because divine is the character of God to keep things alive, to bring things to life. That's the character of the divinity, the character of the divine God. The alphabet and words are divine because by using them in the fullness of the meanings and definitions, we keep things alive or activated or functioning. Everything else that remains after the wholesome word is dust and eventually falls to the dust, because everything comes from some part of the dust, and when it's left unattended by the word, nobody knows what to do with it. It's just used and abused, and then it dies on you. It just goes back to the dust that is buried and forgotten. So that's why it says everything else that remains after the wholesome word is dust and eventually falls to the dust. In the economy, constantly housing all definitions. Look at how I use that. That starts for Echad here. The economy constantly housing all definitions. I know it's in English, but I'm explaining the whole idea. That you have an economy, that you have a system, a house, because eco means house, and nomos is the house of rules. So you have a house with rules that is constantly housing. That means protecting. Like a wall, the walled up city. All definitions. So that is the Echad, okay? The economy constantly housing all definitions. So so it says, okay, so let me start again. In the economy constantly housing all definitions, that means Echad, the Ab standard, okay, like they have the gold standard for currency, or the silver standard, or the petrol standard, and now they're doing the data harvesting because they want to turn into money all the stuff that all the knowledge that they have gathered from people's habits of consumerism. So that's money in the bank now, people's data. Okay, but all of that, but it says the Ab standard is the only currency that is valid because it's the only currency fueling the economy of the ongoing newness empowerment. That's one. Okay, ongoing newness empowerment. So in let me repeat that again because it's very important. In the economy of the Echad, or the economy, in the economy constantly housing all definitions in the Echad. The app standard, that means the father, the alphabet standard, is the only currency that is valid because it's the only currency fueling the economy of the one, of the ongoing newness empowerment. Because that's what you do, when you hold on to the definitions, you keep everything alive, you keep everything new, you keep everything refreshed. It's an ongoing newness empowerment. Because that's the whole idea. When you keep the alphabet, nothing dies. It's a continual, ongoing newness empowerment. It's a continual one. Okay, that's the whole idea of of being in that empowerment. And so he goes. So for a moment, imagine, if you please, what could possibly happen if we all embrace the app standard. Nothing will ever fall to the dust, but will abide and remain forever safe in the divine, meaning the alphabet and the words, the divine alphabet and all his wholesome words. Okay, last year, and I said something here about St. Patrick. Okay, I tell the story of what happened to me last year. I'm going to go over that with you because that was interesting. Last year, I believe Purim fell. Last year, it fell on the 9th and 10th, I believe, of March. Yes, this year it fell in February. The 25th, 25, and 27. That was this year. But last year it fell on March 9 and March 10. That was Purim, the celebration of Purim, and that was the time last year that I was thinking about the economy, and I was thinking about to connect everything. So I tell the story here. Let me see. Okay. Okay, where the little faces are. Last year during St. Patrick Day, by the way, Patrick means father. So on March 17th, the day of the Holy Father, that was like a 1 week after. Next Wednesday is going to be the 17th. So I have something very good prepared for them. But that was last year when this opened up to me, this understanding. So on March 17th, the day of the Holy Father, because St. Patrick means holy, so Saint and Patrick means father. So I call that the day of the Holy Father. I go by their meanings, okay? So in the day of St. Patrick means the day of the Holy Father. As I was doing my daily walk, the understanding and connectedness of the Hebrew word Echad, which means one, dawned upon me. I had understood earlier in 2019 that the function of each letter, the pictograph letters Aleph, Het, and Dalet, that Echad meant strong, secure administration, or, powerful house administration. So that's the idea from the understanding of the function. So it means either a strong, secure administration or powerful house administration. I understood that. But couldn't establish how that related to the meaning of the word being one. Okay? So at that time I was trying to connect. What does that mean? But what does being a strong, secure administration or a powerful house administration, what does that have to do between one? I'm not connected it yet. And then as I was walking, as I was thinking about the holiday itself, because I think it's very interesting. Today is the day. Patrick means father, saint means holy. So I was connecting meanings in my walk. As I was thinking about how the exclusive value of a holiday, exclusive values, and I was thinking exactly like that. The exclusive value of a holiday depends upon the unique aspect of what was done by a particular person. And I had read earlier that day, but every holiday I read upon what makes something famous, somebody famous, right? And what they say about, I was thinking about how St. Patrick is notorious or famous for having cast out all the serpents out of Ireland. That's what they recognize the saint for. He cast all the serpents out of Ireland. I don't know what happened, but that's the legend about him. And so I was thinking of the word ire, because Ireland, ire means anger, being angry or, wrathful. So I thought, oh, wow. So I was just thinking, I was thinking, breaking down Ireland. Ire plus land means equals the land of wrath, and thinking of the serpent as charming politicians that lure us into their projects. All of a sudden, as I was thinking, all of a sudden the thought came in. Then it hit me that what gives exclusive value to a product or service is the patent office, because that's why the patent office exists, to make sure that whoever came up with an idea has their intellectual property protected. So let me keep reading. It hit me. What gives exclusive value to a product or service is the patent office, that grants the owners the right to claim uniqueness over their intellectual property. And the patent office is regarded or is considered to be a strong, secure administration, because that's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to protect people's ideas. So it's strongly and secure. Nobody goes and steals any idea there. Einstein used to work for the patent office. And now people say that he stole a lot of ideas from there. It wasn't his original idea. But Einstein, Albert Einstein used to work for the patent office. In any case, that's beside the point. But in any case, and it is considered a strong, secure administration or a powerfully housed administration, because that's what the owners, they want their idea to be powerfully housed and protected. So the patent office is exactly what it is, and it gives that. It makes you be the one and only owner of this and such. So it makes you exclusive and it makes you unique, and that has to do with one. And that's what I understood the meaning of that one. That's why it says that it's a strong, secure administration. But that's why, because it's a patent office, all right, and it takes the idea and protects it so that it remain attached to the one and only that generated it, and it make sure that idea, that product is protected, so that always being delivered like that, and being given out in the manual the way it was first written down by the original owner. Okay, so that is what that is. So patent office, I hooked it up there, and say, there it goes. Okay, but this is in the external, because in this Mulectic Garden we see the display of everything that we already have perfect within us. But then, let me keep reading here. So let me not get ahead of myself. As a strong office, administration, or powerfully housed administration that is respected by all nations. And all nations, bow down to the idea to respect this buildings or these places like that. Then I understood that Echad 1 has to do with exclusive uniqueness. It's all about being the first founder or father of a particular product or service. Well, guess what? I put here. The Aleph Bet is the founder and father of the most exclusive, unique, and matchless economy of the organic resilient garden, right? We all know that. Where every single cell is a powerfully housed administration. Every single cell is exactly that. Because it's there for what reason? It's a powerfully housed administration protecting the DNA. Because the DNA is the alphabet for your body. It's the code that tells exactly who you are, how you got to look like, what your eyes have to look like, how the height that you have to be, and keeps it going. So that cell is there to protect that. It has an immune system that fights and defends anything that wants to tear up your DNA. It wants to protect it. It's a powerfully housed administration. It's set up to be like that. It has to be apparent to the DNA, because when it duplicates, it has to transfer it very neat, without any problem, without any errors in the code. So that's exactly what it's in each one of our cells. Is a patent office. You understand? That takes care of the DNA with such preciseness. Okay? So each cell is set up to be like that. So therefore, that the DNA travels from one cell to the next, the message of the alphabet, and that's all it keeps. Okay? It keeps just the alphabet. Each cell is precious because of that. So it's a powerfully housed administration, protecting the DNA it has received to project upon creation the unique and exclusive shape, design, form given to each creature by the Creator who has ordained its existence. So you see that? Isn't that beautiful? That's how we are. That's what we're so wonderfully and magnificently made. Okay, so you can have no politician, no scientist of our age coming and I'm gonna put me down now because I know exactly how grandiose, how big is this economy. That is matchless. None of them have ever come close to do anything like this. Okay, but they have ignored to give us that understanding. But it's right here. I'm just putting it all together for you, so you can grow in the confidence that it takes to be in the olive bed in the Father. Okay, so it says, so the Creator who has ordained his existence. Now let me tell you all the way to the top. Now this year on February 19, this is the interesting thing. This year on February 19, and 19, is the number for judgment. It says, now this year, February 19th of 2021, the sculptor of the famous charging bull, that's the one I always used, that I always chose in front of Wall Street, Arturo de Monica. Arturo means Arthur or creator of something. And de Monica means of modes and fashions, okay? So he donated that thing in December of 1989. That's the year that my oldest son was born, Chami. He was born in 1989. So in that year, he donated that bull there to Wall Street. And I didn't mean there, it's grown famous. Everybody all over the world can identify Wall Street with that one now. But this year, that guy, says passed away at the age of 80. Okay? And 80 that's how old was Moses when he started writing the Torah, when he started the ministry for the Torah. When God called him to deliver the people, he was 80. And 80 is the number of new beginnings because 8 people started the new world with Noah. 80 is the age of Moses. That's the number 8 in there, new beginnings. 80 is the Moses, but he began, to do the ministry of delivering the people out of the house of bondage. So that's the number of new beginnings, which is the age of Moses, and when he started with the ministry of providing the Torah. And the number 19 is the number of judgment. Okay, so that judgment has come. I find it very interesting because God is about, to me, the reset system and everything is going right now. The wicked, which do not understand the great resilient economy that we have, they are jumping for the occasion to go with the bet, the electronic Bitcoin. When the Aleph bet is taking over, and faster than they're going to imagine because they have no idea that people are going to lose. People are already losing complete respect of a lot of politicians. They don't trust them. They are the worst parents of societies right now, and they're showing the true colors. And everybody's beginning to see, how they've been lied and everything. So mistrust is big in the air right now. So all of that says, so the number 19 is the number for judgment, and 80 is the number of new beginnings, which is the age Moses had when he started with the ministry of providing the Torah. This is the bull that represents Wall Street. I use this picture because it has representation of the head of the ox. It's the bull, but it has the big head, and it has the family with the ox. So the head of the bull, and it has buildings in the back. So what does that mean? The Aleph and the buildings, that means Father, Aleph Bet. So I use Pesel to explain the letters of the alphabet. Anyhow, so it's the bull that represents Wall Street. I use this picture because it has the representation of the head of an ox and the buildings, which represent Aleph Bet or the Father. Let me go to the next paragraph here. Then after this, I'm going to start asking the questions, okay? But this is a whole lot better that I can do it this way. Oh, wow. Okay. So then I said, this I got it from the says, just keep watching and you'll see how the app is going to reestablish all value systems to be backed up by the app standard, and the whole world will get to behold how he has always ran and will forever run his exclusive creation in the matchless Echad. Okay, then I copy this from the commercial, but let me go to the next thing that I wrote here. Then Deuteronomy 6:5. Thou shalt love Echad. Remember the Aleph and the Beth, and they put the hay in the middle? That's the little guy that's animated that represents breath. So thou shalt love, that means you're going to put yourself in the middle of the alphabet and you're going to keep it animated. That's the reason why we were made. So the word love has to do with the individual soul putting himself in between the alphabet and giving all he has, all his functionality. So he says, thou shalt love that I have from A to C. Remember the that is not written there, it's there. So I wrote it here because the A to tab, Aleph to tab, which the equivalent of A to C. Thou shalt love Ahab from A to C, the Ab, because it says the Lord, but I'm changing it to Ab because our Lord is the Father. The Ab, thy God with all thine heart, Leb, okay? And Aleph Bet is Father, the heart is Lev, L-E-V, which means the lessons of behavior, the things that you learn to compose yourself in this world, learnings of behavior. So say, Lord, with all thy heart and with all thine soul, nefesh. Nefesh is the soul. And with all thy might. And might is miod, which means with all your strength, intensity, eagerness, focus, concentration. That means so everything that you have has to be concentrated on it. That when you're working, you cannot be you cannot be doing your job, especially the job that I do translating. I could not be translating and playing some video games. It's impossible. I got to give 100% of my concentration while I'm doing job because I will do a lousy job if I'm to translate and try to do something else. So while I'm translating, I'm concentrating on that. If there's a little downtime, when there's a break or something, then I go on my computer and I make my commercials. But while I'm taking the call, I have to be there 100%. Exactly. You got to. That's how you got to serve the alphabet. The alphabet for every company. That's how you have to serve it in your company. You got to give it 100%. So it goes there. So the mion, intensity, eagerness. So with all your intensities. So mion is your might. Nefesh is the soul. Lev is the heart. Ab is, I call it here, the Lord is, because the Lord is our Father. So to be fully able, and look at what I'm doing here. I'm going to make an acronym here. To be fully able to hand out enduring riches, which as described Father, F-A-T-H-E-R. To be fully able to hand out enduring riches. And what are enduring riches? It's things that do not rust, things that do not grow old, things that can make things new. So those are word and wholesome words. Those are enduring riches because they last forever. Okay? All the things that made out of the dust go back to the dust. When you cherish the word, you make new things, you keep things going. So that's why I said to be fully able to hand out enduring riches. That means to be a father to all. So that's why I put to be a father to all, which means to be fully able to hand out riches to all. You don't need to get healings. You don't need to get resurrection. You don't need to get to go to heaven or heavenly blessings or anything else you can think of getting outside of just getting the alphabet with all these wholesome words. Change my mind. Tell me that I'm wrong. Because that's what the Torah is about. It's about you establishing that connectedness with your Maker. And it has nothing to do with the French benefits, okay? So let me keep on reading here. So to be a father to all, or to be fully able to hand out enduring riches, whatever a father does, to all, you don't need to get healing, resurrections, heavenly places, or nothing like that. All you need to do is to get the alphabet with all the wholesome words, okay? So now I ask a question here. The question is there anything better that you can choose to do for yourself by using the alphabet and all these wholesome words that would be greater than becoming a father and a mother to all existence? Is there anything better than that? Going to heaven is better than that? Having all the houses in the world is better than that? To me, there's nothing better than that. To be in the mindset of that, because that's what God is. God is just holds onto words and definitions and meanings, and he keeps everything going, and he rejoices in showing off that, because that's what allows him to be the Father and Creator of all things. So when you arrive at that, your soul, my friend, has risen to its highest potential, to the best that you can do with the alphabet that was planted in you in kindergarten. Now you see how it has risen, okay? And that's Everything that gets in the way of bringing you to that standard is a pesel that needs to be cut off. Like Elijah was jealous for the name of the Father, I was jealous for thy name, he says, when he cut off the heads of all the 400 prophets. He was praying to God, I was jealous for your name. That's why he did it. Because these people was not living up to the alphabet. They were not doing justice to the alphabet that was placed in them. And they were misrepresenting him. So it says here, it says, is there anything? So is there anything better than that you can choose? No, there's nothing better than that. You see, the people in this world that are ignorant of the Echad, okay? There's people in this world that are ignorant of the Echad, which means the economy, constantly housing all definitions or the DNA, because the DNA contains all the definitions for who you are. So the people in this world that are ignorant of the Echad, the economy, constantly housing all definitions or the DNA of the cell, go about their daily existence in this world of the mule, that means the manpower of hell, slave economy, as blind fools, doing every job or task for the sake of the fringe benefits and bonifications. In other words, you're in this world to see who's going to give you a good health insurance, good life insurance, good vacation in Bahamas, a good second house to retire. Hey, the one that has, when I was growing up, the company that I was working, United Fruit Company over there in Guatemala, my dad was the one in charge of the power plant there. He was the manager. He was the one running the power plant. That gave electricity to all the farms around there. And so part of his job, they gave him a house. That was part of the French benefit. He got a salary. But on top of the salary, he got a free house, free electricity, free gas. They gave him a pickup from the company. They gave him a motorcycle. I learned to drive those two things from that, and he got access to, there was a lot of food, boxes of food that they brought every weekend from the farms. So all of that, and he had health insurance. He had all those were the French benefits. You don't see French benefits like this now in their jobs. Ford used to do that at the beginning. They used to give the people that work for Ford, they used to have your own house. The company provided a house and everything. Because that's how they look at things, So the French benefits were way up there. So in this world, people, that's the best they can do for themselves. They can go look for a job that can give them the best. And also when it comes to religion, that's what they're looking for. Hey, does it offer you healings? I do resurrection on the side here. All these things. Good place in heaven. Hey, man, I'm signing in for it. Deliverance from hell. Okay, I'm going to go for it. All French benefits. Okay? That's how pretty much people go. Okay? So he goes here. So let me say this. So there's the people that are ignorant of all of that and they're part of the mule, that's all they do when they work for a job is it says a blind fool doing every job or task for the sake of the fringe benefits and bonifications. But truly we were made to have fellowship and access to the founder's mindset and organization. In other words, we inherit to be the presence of the Father on the Aleph Beth at the highest of your existence is to be able to be in the mindset of the attitude of how you take care of words, how you take care of definition, how you handle meanings, and how you organize. So you are in the organization phase and in the mindset. Always like that. That's when you have fellowship with the Father. That's when you reach your highest potential in the Aleph Beth. So it says, so let me get, I started late, so this is the most important paragraph here. Then I'd say here, why do you treat yourself like an ancient ruin when you're still the most advanced creation ever conceived by the Almighty? That's a little side note here because a lot of people forget, the resilient garden they come from. Yeah, the Echad will bring an end to inflation. Then I wrote here, nowadays everybody uses money, but yet no one knows or seems to know how to do anything for money. And everybody uses money, but nobody seems to know how to do anything for money not to lose its value through inflation. Likewise, the alphabet is used by all. Everybody uses the alphabet. But none seems to hold up the alphabet, as the standard, which means the Father, the standard by which nothing created will ever end up being devalued. Nobody thinks that way. Okay? Proverbs 28, verse 1. The wicked flee when no men pursue, but the righteous are bold as a lion. Somebody put in there, I was thinking of running, but the Bible says the wicked flee when no one pursues. So that's it. I'm not going to run anymore. So that's the little verse they use. So I remember the second part is important. But the righteous are bold as a lion. A lion is ready to attack. He's ready to roar back. He's no chicken, you know. So the wicked flee when no men pursue it. This is what you don't know where your economy, for which economy God made you. And then people can easily scare you. And then I give you an interesting idea here. Let me close with this. When the hen is by herself, she can be easily scared. But when it has her own little chicks, she is as bold as a lion and is ready to defend them no matter how big the predator might be. When the soul is all alone, hear me now, when the soul is all alone because it's not aware that the alphabet is her true child, that she has to, take in and conceive and protect to make sure that it develops into a strong and robust father, Aleph Beth, that is father, the soul can easily be frightened, because he doesn't know what he was made. He doesn't know, he doesn't have that child for whom to die for, like the little hen. The soul can easily be frightened, but when she acquires her true child, when she is bold, and then she's bold and unafraid of anyone that seeks to undermine the full and total potential of the Aleph Bet to grow and become the most strongest and robust father it can ever be. Because that's what has happened to me, my friends. I know that I was made for the alphabet. And everybody out there that is doing the service to that, I'm going to point it out to you. I'm going to say to you, where's your religion that did not bring you up to the highest that the alphabet can be in the Father? Where is it now? What do you need it for? For the French benefits? For resurrections? For places in heaven? Away with such things. Cut off the head of that Pesel and establish yourself in what will bring out the best Aleph Beth in you to grow strong and robust. Because that's what the economies are about. Okay? That's what the Torah is all about. That's where you have to be in the here and now. Because when you become the father and mother to all, because all you want to do is take care of letters, words, and definitions, you are the meekest man upon the face of the earth. You do no harm to anybody. You do not devalue anything. You are there to keep everything restored, refreshed, and renewed. You provide a heaven here on earth. And that's what you're able to do once you had allowed the Aleph Bet to grow in you. You become as bold as a lion, and you let nothing stop you. All right? So that's all for the lesson for today. All right, so now we're going to start, see if I can we can make some money here. Let's see if I can put some of you guys in here. All right. How we doing? Ready to make some money? I like that. The mama bears are like that too. Yes, that's right. And we are like that too. Once the soul gets the true child to take care of, woo, it's gonna do something. It's gonna become bold like this. So let me so I can start. So that was a good lesson here. We learned a lot of stuff there. A lot of things to consider, And that's the beauty, of the Torah. That it wants us to grow. Otherwise you're gonna be serving something else. Okay? And why go serving something else? We were made for the most greatest there is, the alphabet, and to grow into the full potential of the Aleph Bet. And, might as well do that. All right, so, okay, for the first $50, all right, let me see if I can, I believe I have a screen specially for that, right? Let me see, what did I use last week? Because I had something with a drum roll here. Let me see if I can find it. Where did I put that one? Yeah, let me see. Okay, I think it's this one. in the clouds here, right in the clouds, bringing out the riches. I just gave you some riches from the Torah for your soul to make it the strongest in the alphabet that it can ever be, to raise that true riches that were given to you to be the best that it can ever be. All right. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. It rained here really bad today. I could hear thunder and all kinds of stuff. It was messing my call. As a matter of fact, it was so loud. Okay. In any case, all right. Let me go down all the way to the bottom. All right. So we're gonna start asking for the first question for $50. All right, $50 for the first question. Let me see how we're doing here. $50. The first question will be, okay, so anybody pay attention. All right. What is the, what are the, let me see, to make it easy. Um, what are the three Hebrew letters that go in the word Echad? One. What are the three Hebrew letters? Break it down. Three Hebrew letters for the word Echad. The three Hebrew letters for the word Echad. Alright. Okay. No, that's not it. Echad, that has three Hebrew letters. Okay, somebody said something? Okay. Uh, uh, Aleph, Het, Dalet. All right, Brian got it. Brian Wanta. All right, Brian Wanta. $50. Okay, Aleph, Het, Dalet. Correct. Correcto mundo. You got that one. All right. Congratulations to Brian for answering that. Uh, all right. Now, let me see. Okay. Now, the next question is, what is the meaning of Aleph, Het, Dalet? What does it stand for? What does it mean in English? It means two things. Okay, come by, give me the meaning. I tried. Okay, head is wall. Okay, well, okay, head is wall or fence, safeguard, well protected. Well, that's one letter. But what's the meaning of the three letters? Safeguarding, wall, fence. You guys give me the meaning of the word head. Echad is three words and it means something for each letter. Some of you are giving me the meaning of the word Echad. Those two of you are giving me the meaning of the word Echad. Somebody else, let me see. Think about that because it has three letters. What does the word Aleph stands for? What does the word Het stands for? And what does the word Dalet? Okay, let me see. Aha! I think we got something here. Rosa Crispin, strong, secure administration. Very good. That's strong for the Aleph, secure for the Het, because of the fence, and administration, the Dalet. Very good. Rosa Crispin, very good. $50. $50 for Rosa Crispin. Very good. All right. Very good. Very good. Very good. All right. Okay. Now, the last one. Okay, let's see if we're paying attention. What is the word in Hebrew for love? The word for love in Hebrew, what is the word? Thou shalt love the Lord thy God. What is the word love in Hebrew? Thou shalt love. See, we're paying attention. Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart. Anybody remember? guys that won, you better wait. You have to wait. I'll give you another minute. The Crispin said something there, but it's only one letter you got right there, Andy. You have to give me the two other letters. Ah! Andy gave it now. Ahab. That's right. That's right. That's right. Andy got it. So, Ahab. There we go. $50 for Andy. All right. So, Andy got that. Congratulations. Ahab. So, congratulations to Brian. $50. Rosa Crispin got $50. And Andy got it right at the end. He got a love. And that means the aleph and the bet, and you put the hay in the middle. Yeah, that's how you do love. The hay is, the little guy is moving. So you go to work for the alphabet. That means you're loving God. That's why God puts it. He made that word out of his own self, out of his alphabet, with you in it. So he put himself as the Father in it, and then you put you in it as the breath of God. And that's what love is. For you to be united in the middle of the olive bath. Isn't that wonderful? That's what love is. That's how God defines love. We define it for everything else, but that's how God defines it. You can get the truth. Okay, so I'm glad you guys showed up. Even I'm glad that my friend Joseph Katz showed up. That's good too. And so we have people coming in. And I know some of the rest of you, just need to stop being shy and show up some more. Well, it's good that I saw these people in here. And, I love each and every one of you. I'm glad that you want to learn the Torah because it's my pleasure to teach it to you with all I've got in me. That's my life is all about. I am so complete in the Father here, learning all these things and showing him off and all that I do, especially with this lesson. To me, these are the greatest riches. You see what I'm saying? The understanding of the Torah is the greatest riches I can give you. Because, you're not going to get anywhere else. I don't care what university you go to. And secondary to that is the money that I can give, But other than that, everything is in the giving mode. Because that's what the Father is all about, So I love each and every one of you. I hope you go strong in your alphabet that is in you. That it grows up to the full potential of the Father, And you had nothing hinder you. That you move forward in that direction. I'm going to love each one of you. I'm going to be praying for each one of you, so that you will grow in that direction. All right, so God bless each and every one of you. Let me close with a little commercial here.